Since the 19th century, death penalty, also known as capital punishment, has always been part of acrimonious discussions. Those against the death penalty fight for the inhumane aspects of such punishment, while those in favor view the death penalty as an effective way to deter crime and hold the old outage eye for an eye. As of May 22, 55 countries around the globe still implement the death penalty, while some of these countries have not executed anyone over the past 10 years. In the United States, hanging, electrocution, gas chamber, and lethal injection are the primary means of execution, with lethal injection being the most widely used method. In this speech, I'll be tackling the death penalty in the United States, emphasizing how its implementation perpetuates violence and affects marginalized communities for three reasons. Starting strong, the death penalty is irreversible. Since 1973, at least 190 people have been exonerated from death row in the United States. Jeopardy exists within capital punishment. Imagine the risk of sentencing a presumed criminal. 106 of the 190 exonerations were black. Hence, the death penalty is often applied in a discriminatory manner. A great representation of this is Walter Macmillan, an African American who was sentenced to death for allegedly murdering Mrs. Morrison, a young white woman in Monroeville, Alabama. There were alibi witnesses who established that Macmillan was somewhere else during the scene of the crime and was at a church fish fry. However, since they were black, the jury ignored these witnesses. Furthermore, Macmillan was placed on death row by the sheriff even without conviction. Macmillan was then sentenced to electrocution. After all the psychological stress of spending 6 years on death row, Macmillan was released in 1993. His case highlights the risk of executing innocent people enjoying public attention to wrongful convictions. It is a form of human rights violation. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights states that an individual, regardless of color, race, ethnicity, social status, and etc., has a right to life and the right to live free from torture or cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment. Implementation of the death penalty violates these rights. I believe that violating someone's right for violating another person's right to live is not the most efficient way to address and approach a committed crime. Death penalty does not declare crime. There is no incontestable proof that capital punishment acts as a better deterrent than lifelong imprisonment. In fact, the likelihood of the death penalty inciting criminal violence is higher than deterring crime, since it encapsulates the taking of human life as an acceptable means of solving problems. Furthermore, statistics shows that crime records, specifically homicide, in states without the death penalty are better. A report by Abdurrahman Burman Center concludes that 10 out of the 11 countries they examined experienced a decline in their murder rates after a decade of the abolition of death penalty. As a final point, the death penalty is a flawed, inhumane, and inefficient way in an attempt to serve justice to victims and create a safe and peaceful nation. It insinuates killing and represents rights violations. It is a method that does not contribute to the betterment of the country. It is a method that must be abolished. Instead, nations should work hand in hand to create a just and long-term solution to crime issues.